there is a power and a strength within having a skill or something that you can add to the table that is for you and it's pure, and then you can get that to the world when you're ready. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm good now. I understand it. I know it front to back. It's cool. But taking that time, man, just don't rush. Don't rush it, because you're going to put yourself in a position that you don't need to be in.
What up, world? It's your boy Dave. Dave Has Wings, and we back for another episode of the Living Room Podcast. If you're not familiar, Living Room Podcast is our show in support of our creative studio, Hugh House. Again, my name is David Butler, partner focusing on strategy and operations at Hugh House, and I'll kick it to my co-host.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? My name is Elliott McKnight, partner with creative technology and creative operations.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, man, we had coming off a crazy good interview with Kevin Barnett for our last episode. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. He's a real seasoned player, as you can tell, man, just like a real OG, true OG. So it was a blessing to have him on the show. A lot has happened since then. Elliott, how you feeling, man? What you been up to? How you feeling coming off that last episode?
I've been in good high spirits ever since the last episode. Been feeling good and definitely just diving deeper on some of the things that I've been interested in. And probably the biggest thing that is already kind of taking the internet by storm is the collaboration, the announcement with OpenAI and Johnny Ive and his Love From company. And so they're just like talking about how they're going to be making hardware for artificial intelligence. And it was kind of like a shell shock to the entire industry. And I've been trying to keep a close eye on it. I was taking a look earlier today with the sit down that they had between each other. They made some content around it. It was based in San Francisco. If you guys haven't seen already, it's the story behind it is like Johnny Ive is meeting with Sam Altman inside of like this cafe in San Francisco, and they sit down and have a conversation. And really it's centered around this idea of two friends kind of forming like this company, and it's like this merger together. So it looks like that Johnny Ive had IO as a company already with a couple other partners, which was centered around like the idea of hardware and artificial intelligence. And that's going to be merged into OpenAI. And then Johnny Ive's Love From company is also going to handle all creative responsibilities and design responsibilities for OpenAI in the future. So that was like a major move. And some of the things and implications that I've been thinking about is, all right, well, how does this happen, right? And how does someone that is like originally from the school of Apple, the school of Steve Jobs, not go to an Apple, in a time like this, and to make this type of partnership? This is something that you would expect from Johnny Ive and Tim Cook, to be honest with you. So this has been really interesting, especially off the heels of Google making their keynote and making a lot of announcements and a lot of things circulating around there. So the eyes are really on Apple right now, because it looks like they've kind of taken a back seat in this race. And for Sam Altman to kind of come out of nowhere and position himself like this is kind of a next step to adding the software with the hardware. And I forget if it was Steve Jobs or who said it specifically, but it was the quote of saying, like, if you're really serious about software, then you need to be like dead set on hardware. And I think that this is going to kind of transform. We may be on the cusp of iPhone, iPod, MacBook moment in the next couple years as it relates to this and going into the next decade. So that's something that's just been really cracking my mind open, and I'm really curious to see like how this is going to play out over the next couple of months, years, and decades to come.
Nah, that's super interesting. And point, I hadn't caught wind of any of that, so you put me up on game right now. But to your point though, in listening to or looking at, when you talk about if you want to call it the AI arms race, a lot of people have been talking about, or I've seen in past, or in just regular people's content or in conversation, people more so talking about how it feels like Apple is literally behind with all of this, and like even with how they rolled out Apple Intelligence with the last rollout of tech that they put out. How it just didn't feel right. Like it was like, okay, we still waiting on this update. We got the phone, but we still waiting on the Apple Intelligence, and then like it's supposed to roll out separately, and you got like it just didn't feel like it was all complete. It felt like they kind of rushed it to launch to be a part of the AI conversation versus being, leading the charge. And I forget, what I was listening to or watching when I heard that, but it's interesting to hear that sentiment, that was a couple months ago or whenever it was that the 16 came out or whatever. So, maybe a year ago now at this point, kind of crazy. But yeah, like that, it sounds like that's very much still the trend for what Apple has going on and what's going on with just the advancement of AI.
Yeah, man. I hope they get it together, bro, because you know, they released the Vision Pros. It was mad expensive to get those. It was 3,500, I believe, for the headset, which was what 7 times more expensive than the Quest 3. And I've tried both. I mean, obviously the Vision Pro was great. I was able to try it on at the Apple Store and have like the whole demo and everything like that. But bro, just the accessibility in terms of what the back end of actually what it was built on, that's what kind of piped Mark Zuckerberg up a little bit during that time, because he was like, oh, this all y'all got? And we selling it 7 times cheaper? Oh, let's run this up. So so because of that, it's been really interesting to see. So they kind of like they kind of been on the back foot with that situation. Now they on the back foot with the AI. I still have faith in them, but I think that this is like some of the clear differences that you see with, the different types of leaders. Like we know Steve Jobs as the hybrid of creative and business. But if you study Tim Cook's like career and everything, he's definitely more business minded. He's coming from a logistics background. So that intensity and that care for the creative and these different parts and how to like roll things out. Not saying that he can't do it. And I'm just not saying anything against like Tim Cook's career as a CEO or anything like that, because he has created $1 trillion company during his tenure. I'm just saying that the same feeling around brand, I think that we know Apple for is going to be a little bit different because of Tim Cook's background and like where he comes from and just the way he approaches things. But that comes at the expense of being first, having that innovative feel, and where it looks like they're a little bit on the back foot. I still think they have a chance to really kick in and really make an impact, but as of right now, it's looking a little shaky. So we'll see how it goes out.
Nah, and that is crazy because it reminds me of in just terms of like one, just emerging or new tech that came out, new hardware, but also thinking about what I'm saying, incumbents versus kind of like newer players. At least from my perspective, as I'm kind of starting to dig more into this, as we kind of start to apply some of these things to the studio, is like looking at like what Insta360 has done versus where GoPro has been for the last couple of years, right? Like what us kind of leaning into the 360 format, and then obviously I definitely want to get your opinion and thoughts and get a little breakdown on how you feel about the X5 now that it's out. I don't know if you got a chance to kind of put hands to it and whatnot, but definitely want to talk about that a little bit. But in my research, because I'm looking at I bought a GoPro a couple of years ago just to like start recording soccer content. So first thing I think about in terms of action camera, just based off of being my age and experience, I wasn't really hip to Insta360 like that. So I went and bought a GoPro. I think it might have been like the Hero 10 or the Hero 11 somewhere in there. I think they own like 14 or something like that. Yeah, I brought the Hero 10, bought the chest joint and all that kind of stuff. Wore it to play pickup soccer a couple times, caught a couple clips, did a couple things. But now I'm looking at some of the joints that the Insta360 got, and just some of the mounts and the way that they, the accessories and the size of the camera itself, some of the other utilization in terms of it being able to be leveraged as a webcam. Like I went down a rabbit hole last week, just kind of looking at it because I want to start getting some more like POV content of just like being at events and stuff like that. So I was just kind of checking out just what the action camera market was looking like, and it was just tripping me out. And Insta360 was top of mind because they just dropped the X5. So it's kind of crazy even to see that, where I'm kind of like, dang, like from a features perspective and just like the cool things that are available to be done, like Insta360 is killing it right now.
Yeah, man, they in a really nice pocket right now, based on where they're at, because even from a technical standpoint, that X5 is really nice. I haven't had a chance to play with it physically myself yet, but I do know based off the specs that I've seen in terms of the lens and the sensor, I believe it's at a 1 inch, which is incredible leap from the X4 and the X3. Because the model that I have is the Leica collab, where they had a 1 inch sensor, and that was like a huge moment for action cameras, because one of the biggest critiques on it was the quality of the output and the video export. So with having that larger lens, with that larger lens, it was requiring like a higher price point for that camera model. But now they have it inside of like their standard lineup in their main lineup instead of having to like do a whole collaboration with the photography company. So that alone just opens up the door for a couple things: the quality of the video, and then even one of the biggest critiques with action cameras is just like shooting at night. And I've seen some playbacks from some folks that I follow on Instagram and some of the collabs that Insta360 has done. Like shooting at night looks crazy on the X5. It's looking sleek. And I think that one of the things I want to see from Insta360 a little bit more is like them figuring out a way to serve, the action camera space, but also like the emerging tech space as well too. Because I think that from a business standpoint, I understand that the action camera space or the marketing behind that push, collaborating with, having a partnership with Will Smith and partnerships with other big influencers and things like that. That's really great. That's what pays the bills. But I think that to keep them ahead and like keep pushing forward, they've kind of letting like the marketing of like the emerging tech, like being able to have a 2-for-1 in one camera to be able to do the VR, the 360 videos, and to get into like, some more XR lanes with that. So there are a couple of influencers that showcase that, but it's not really coming from the voice of Insta360. So I think they're in a really good space. I just hope that they kind of get back to that because they haven't updated like their bigger heavy duty professional cameras like the Insta360 Pro 2 that came out maybe in 2017 or something like that. It's been almost 10 years since they updated that camera. And those are the same cameras that are being used. If you saw like the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and things like that, like they use that camera in multiple places. They use that camera at the Olympics when they shoot in VR. They use that camera for a multitude of things, but it just hasn't been updated in a while. So I'm hoping that they are able to combine that and let people know like, hey, you can still use it for this as well too, because there's a huge market for that. And nobody's really like kind of claiming that space right now. But overall, again, with the X5, that joint at that price point is gonna get crazy, bro. And with the update with the software too, with the software, now you basically got you got CapCut at the house. You know what I'm saying? We got CapCut at home, baby. Like, we good.
Oh yeah, the desktop joint.
Yeah, man. So like being able to like cook, that was something that was like a con with working with Insta360 for a while, is because you had to like get the images, you had to get the video content and then export it and then put it in Premiere or put it in DaVinci. Now you can get busy all within one suite. They've been making a lot of moves, bro, and I'm hoping that they keep their foot on people's necks. They're in a good spot. I was hoping to get out to one of their events out here in New York because they usually do events when they do a release on product, but wasn't able to make it out just due to timing and everything like that. But I'm loving what they're doing overall, man. They definitely got it.
Yeah, no, I definitely will say that editing software, the desktop editing software is definitely clutch. Like I watched maybe like half of one little tutorial just to kind of get my mind wrapped around the concept, and I was good to go. It was very intuitive after that, you know what I'm saying, in terms of just being able to make a little quick something for a reel. You know what I mean? And then ended up tossing it over into CapCut just to like add in like graphics and all that. But to know that you can do that off the desktop is like super, 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 super clutch. And it definitely was like somebody who is newer to like editing 360 video. And but I mean, obviously I got video editing experience, like mainly more so like in Final Cut than DaVinci or Premiere. But either way, it's like when you edit in one software, you edit them all for real. So it's like that was very intuitive. You know what I mean? After I figured out how to make the keyframes and kind of move things around and set things up, I was cooking. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't take me too much longer. But I did forget how much crazier editing video is than photos. But I primarily, you know what I'm saying, if I'm doing anything extra, sometimes I'm like editing photos or so because I'm, photographer more so by trade. But so I forgot how tedious it can be to edit video. But that's Insta360 joint. I mean, I had a little reel put together, and and then that's again with messing around with stuff and trying to, not being lost in the software, just trying to like see what else I could do and mess around with. I had a little reel put together in like a quick little hour or something like that, hour and a half, which ain't crazy for having just cracked the software open, like just downloaded it, looked at a half a tutorial, and like uploaded the footage that I had. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro.
No doubt. So, I mean, outside of the tech, what else is getting you excited right now? What else you looking at? What else is inspiring?
Man, right now, outside of the tech, man, again, I've been on a crazy. To be honest, it's kind of crazy, man. I went to go see Sinners a second time, bro. I had to I had to double back. I had to double
Bro, I'm
back, man.
supposed to get my second watch in. I ain't got my second watch in yet. I need to, man. I'm tripping.
Hey, bro. I noticed a lot more on the second go round.
Bro, on that note, bro, my heart dropped. I forgot where I was at. I don't even remember. Oh, I was moderating a panel last week, and I found out that they did the 70 millimeter film giveaway at the Discovery Place here, bro. Broke my heart. I was sick. Literally, like,
No,
I think I got me finding out about that. I think I got me finding out about that on camera. I think I was mic'd up and I had the Insta360 rolling, bro. I might have to send you that clip. I might have to post that on social because my
nah.
feelings was hurt. I
Wait, so
misunderstood distribution mechanism. I ain't gonna hold you. And it was a lot trying to keep up with, but we don't have no 70 millimeter joint here. I thought they was only giving out the film strips at the 70 millimeter screenings at the 10, 12 theaters around the world. I didn't know it was going to like random theaters, like all over. You know what I'm saying? So Discovery Place, one of the girls that was here, you know what I'm saying? Had them joints distributed, and I couldn't go see Discovery Place because they only showed it at 4 or they showed it at 6 every showtime that they had opening, and that just didn't work with my schedule. But yeah, bro, they was giving away the film strips, the little mock film strips, and bro, the film prints, that's what they're called, the 70 millimeter film prints. They were giving those away in Charlotte, and bro, I was so hurt. I'm still hurt. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah,
yeah.
I forgot to even tell you about that when we like been talking, catching up like offline. Yeah, bro, I'm hurt. So I need to go
That's
get the second watch in, but that cooked me. That cooked me a little bit, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh man, that hurt my heart, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, that's crazy. Oh, they had them joints. Yeah, I'm salty too, man, because I still
Bro,
ain't get them. Even when I went to the IMAX joint, they didn't even have them. No, they ain't have any left, and I was like, what, bro? That was half the reason why I pulled up. Like, what you mean? I was tight, bro. Oh my god, dang, man, that's crazy. But yeah, man, I went to go check it out for a second time, man, and that was great. And I just been trying to tap in like with the in terms of the films right now, just getting back in the groove of going back. Went to go check that out a second time. I'm really looking forward to I'm seeing what they're doing with the F1. I'm waiting for that to come out. And I've
that's
just
gonna
been
be fire. I can't wait
that's
for that.
that's gonna be, hey man, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be one of them ones. I could tell already by how they shot it, and it's from
Yes,
the director from
yes,
Top Gun, Maverick. And I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be lit.
bruh.
It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. So between that, man, I just feel like we're like in a really good place in terms of films right now. That's just something that, even going into the conversation of like keeping art form and just keeping it fun, like that's something I'm just like trying to keep as pure as possible. Like just going in there, checking it out, and being a nerd about it, getting on Letterboxd, reading the reviews, reading the comments, and just like checking to see what's coming out, man, and just like staying tapped in with it. So been doing that. Crazy TV shows. Was watching the studio. That's been really good. I need to finish that up. I know it's been finished for like a couple weeks now, but Seth Rogen's new show on Apple TV. That's been inspiring. I'm blanking on the Star Wars season 2 on Disney Plus. What's the name of that show? It's not
Can't help you picked out.
dang, man, I'm bugging right now because it's supposed to be really good, but I started that as well too, man. But just overall, I just think that we're like in a good time, in a renaissance in terms of like film and film production, man. Just like the care and like getting back to it. It's getting a little spooky when the COVID hit, and and people. I know there's going to be a section of people that just only go to the theaters, or they're not even going to theaters at all. They're just going to check out streaming. But there was a conversation I remember in like 2020, 2021, where theaters itself as a format was going to kind of be erased. And there was like a kind of like a flirtation with that idea. But I'm glad to see like, it's still holding on strong. So films like Mission Impossible being shot in, IMAX, like these things are like staying alive. Seeing that Chris Nolan, he's got the Odysseus film that's coming out, and I think in like a year. That's supposed to be shot all on IMAX. So just like seeing the format staying alive, man. I know that's not like a direct trending headline or anything, but that's just something that's been on my mind as of late. Just as we're transversing through a lot of things. I know we're talking about the tech as things are like kind of changing from a technical perspective and how we're feeling about that as it bleeds into the creative industry. Just seeing people still create at a high level and allowing the format to still be alive and being able to check that out. So that's been something that's been super inspiring for me lately as I, break away from work or from looking at things on social media. It's like, okay, this thing still lives on. So that's been good.
Yeah, man. I don't think I don't think movies are going anywhere, bro. It's just too much of a communal thing. I really don't want to be in a spot where I can only watch new premieres at the crib. First of all, y'all already taxing me to be on these streaming platforms, and now y'all want me to pay an extra 25, $30 to watch the movie. And granted, that's the cost of one ticket, but at the same time, experience the size, the format, especially now that that I see my first IMAX joint. You know what I'm saying? With Sinners, I'm like, bro, I got to see more movies at IMAX. Like, it's just a whole different experience. And as I start to lean into some of the things, like we were just kind of talking about headphones and sound earlier before we started recording, it's like, as I'm starting to look at some of these things and paying attention to how these things affect how you receive different mediums, it's like, I don't see film going anywhere, bro. That theater experience, you can't really beat being in the theater with other folks. And you really can't beat, honestly, too, being in the theater dolo. Like, me and wifey was in on vacation and we went to VA and at the spot where her people's got a timeshare, and we went to the movies there, a little movie theater, middle of the day, middle of the week type situation, and we went to go see The Accountant too, and we was literally the only people in the theater, and like,
Hey, hey, was
having
that good? Did
having
you
the
like it?
whole experience of having the theater. Yeah, it was fire. I thought it was dope, bro. I enjoyed it. It's very rare that, you know what I'm saying, the sequels are as good as the original, you know what I'm saying? But that was really dope. I really enjoyed the second joint. And I like the added humor. I like the way that they, not to give away too many spoilers or any spoilers, it's been out for a couple weeks, but you know what I'm saying? I like the way that they kind of tweaked, you know what I'm saying, Christian's personality a little bit and like kind of like tried to like you can see him calculating, trying how to be human and things like that. Like I enjoyed it, bro. I really enjoyed it. And I don't John Bernthal doesn't miss for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't seen a role where John Bernthal did deliver. So I enjoyed it a lot. My homie didn't like the fact that they kind of took his tick away from him a little bit, but you know what I mean. For me, it worked. I liked him and the progression and the growth of the characters. I thought it was pretty fire. So I enjoyed it.
That's what's up. But yeah, man, what about you, man? What's been inspiring you lately, man?
Um, Let me see here, bro. Our community honestly has been inspiring me. So at the time of this recording, we are a couple of days removed from our second Bunko, and we were talking about it on staff meeting earlier today, and it was just like, bro, I was so filled up by the way that Bunko was executed and how well it went. Like we were at, for context, we were at Archive CLT on Beatty's Ford Road here in Charlotte. Shout out to Sharice Terry, the owner, for hosting us, and she showed out. The homie Tadrina showed out. Like our community, one of the OGs, Mike pulled up and showed out. Shout out to homie Mark Prosper pulled up and showed out. So like it was like cats was pulling up. It almost turned into like a slight little sneaker situation where people was like it felt like a sneaker con type thing, but it was about books. Like people was coming up like, yo, I got this. But you know what I mean? I ain't letting nothing go. I might trade something for the right situation, but I'm really just here to like show y'all that like I really do this art book, coffee table book, important book, visuals, inspiration thing. Like I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Like Zadrina pulled up with two, you know what I'm saying, two tote bags full of books and was like, putting it on the table. Sharice, the owner, she had a whole laundry basket full of books, bro. We had probably about, 25, 30 people in and out the whole time that we was there for the 4 hours. And then, of course, Sharice had her regular clientele there. But I mean, the vibes were immaculate. The music was great. The drinks were incredible. Archive dropped their smoothie lines. Kind of encouraged everybody to patronize that, and the smoothies were fire. Everything else on their menu is usually fire too. So I mean, it was just it was overall it was a good vibe. We vibed out, bro. And I was, I'm saying, I had a couple like personal gifts, and people brought me some things. That I really appreciate it. Shout out to Yona L, our first ever intern at Hugh House. You know what I'm saying? He's now working, working for another agency in town. Um, yeah, we called him right when he was getting ready to come out of. We were his last, senior last semester like internship or whatever. He reached out to us like, yo, I need some hours, da da da. It's our first ever intern from CPCC, and he brought me something that was real special, man. So shout out to him, and bro, it was just dope being in the space and good to see like the vision come fully to life. And the first one was cool, right? It was super intimate and like it was more of a roundtable conversation. Like y'all have probably seen some of those clips on social, but y'all gonna be able to feel the energy off these new clips that we got that are probably they might be on social by the time this rolls out. You'll be able to tell the difference from event one to event two, and it was beautiful. And it was love, bro. It was love. If I could bathe in that energy every morning, I would, because it was just dope to see. It was also too like the learning pieces of it. Like so, we came in. One of our homies, Quintel Gwen, showed up. Like she is a interior designer by trade. You know what I'm saying? And she's a professor. And one of the books that Sharice had brought was a Matisse book. So it had all like a bunch of just like an archive of Matisse's work. And that caught Quinn's eye. And she just kind of like let us know, like, yo, um, Matisse's great grandson lives in Asheville, has a pottery practice. And he just recently collabed with the Matisse estate. So he started leveraging the art that's been made by his great grandfather into his practice, and they did a collab. And it's for the first time that he did that. He was apparently on some like, yo, I want to build my own practice. I want to be known for me and quality of work and all of that. And then he doubled back and hit the family foundation, like, hey, like let's make this play. So I forget the name of the pottery company. It's West something Pottery. I have to look it up. Um, but yeah, bro, that just like little moments like that was happening. Yeah, we found out about Core Core magazine called. The homie Mike pulled up. He had a subscription to this joint called Core magazine, which is essentially like the black man's GQ from like that. Never heard of it, never seen it. You know what I'm saying? So he gave us a whole rundown on that. Bro, it was love. It was learning happening. It was like the energy was there. People was hype. People was protecting their stash. People was like, yo, you know, don't touch this. You know what I'm saying? The free table's over there. Like it was lit, bro. And I'm just really inspired to see the concept come to life and see people enjoy see that community, people come together that enjoy that visual inspiration, those books in the same way that we do. And I feel like people have all this stuff at the crib, but they just haven't had a space to express it or find other people that are like them. So it was a win, bro. It was a huge win. That inspired the crap out of me to keep pushing and for us to continue to do what we're doing in terms of like our quarterly events. So um, yeah, bro, that's what's keeping me lit. That's what's keeping me lit right now is just the homies in our community that's around us right now.
Yeah, man, that's dope. And I know you was talking about like the energy and the vibe and the energy from the first event to the second event and how it's getting closer to what you were envisioning. And I think this might be a good time to also like um tell everybody like what is the vision for Bunko and like what is it again, just so they can be reminded of like, okay, so what's the vibes, just in case if anybody's listening right now, they like, man, I might want to pull up and see what's going on, like from your perspective, like what is Bunko and like where are we trying to take that?
For sure, man. So Bunko is it is a celebration of visual inspiration. That's the best way that I can describe it. Because really, I just got tired of like, or I'm getting tired of, working on projects and, when you mood board and things, you might go to Save It or you might go to Pinterest or something like that. And I'm just getting tired of always having to, go to be digitally first, right? Like the reason why we have all these things, the reason why we have all these books around us, at least for me, I started pulling together so that I could have this from work that I value or from people or brands that I thought were cool, right? So that's why I have like Gary Land's Allen Iverson book. That's why I recently purchased, what I'm saying, the G Shock book. Um, and all of that. It's like because of the brands, the craftsmanship, everything I value. To have these things broken down in detail, right? Is why I own a couple Virgil Abloh books. So in order to have references for some of your work, or to even just continue to again have that visual inspiration in front of you, like it's just to have a space that's just for that, and for also to build community around the books, like to build community around that inspiration, so that something may drop and you may not have it at the time to spend $200 on a new book or 150 on a new book or $80 on a new book. You know what I'm saying? So if you got that in your network or if you got that in your community, have people come together, trade it for a week, trade it for a week or two, trade it for a month. You know what I'm saying? Like just swap it out and kick it, look through it, what I'm saying, and be able to kind of take inventory of all the inspiration that comes from that, return it to the person, whatever, what I mean, or sell it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it served its purpose. Maybe you've changed mediums. You know what I mean? And you have all these books. Maybe you used to be in the fashion design, and now you in architecture. So you are getting rid of all your fashion design books, or you need a space to offload them, or you're looking for, and somebody might just be getting into fashion design, so it might be a good reference for them. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody maybe has an architecture book that has served them, or something that they feel like they've mastered, so they can get that off. You know what I mean? Or same thing with like tangible design. I picked up a little design book too, that was in the pile of just like just references on composition, references on layout, like just having like a go-to resource to be able to, I'm working on a flyer. Let me look at this real quick just to think about, get some quick ideas. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I'm on a tangent right now, but that's what it's about, man. Bunko is all about, it's a celebration of visual inspiration. Coffee table books are the medium, and we're trying to bring people to build community around that.
Yeah, man, it's dope. I was sick. I wasn't able to make it this time, man. I got the calls. If y'all don't know, I got a call from Dave FaceTime me. Oh, and he was like, "Yo, man, it's cooking in here. It's cooking in here." It felt like I was like the first time, that you're just seeing, like, we talked about it before, like sneaker con or something like that, like a festival, or some type of platform that's like kind of popping up, and it's in the early stages of that. Personally for myself, I see it as, we're collecting like these artifacts, and being able to share it with each other, man, and just like really sharing, whether it's history, design, art, and knowledge sharing piece. And I think there was also a story as well today, that we were talking about, even going back into the Matisse, but like the way that even started was somebody, I believe, brought in a Matisse book or something like that. Like how did that start again? Like even that conversation?
Yeah, so Sharice had brought Matisse book. Yeah, Sharice had brought a Matisse book in as a part of the stuff that she had brought to to trade or whatever. So she Quinn just seen it on the table. You know what I'm saying? And she just was like, "Oh, yo, that's crazy! Like, I love Matisse." Da, da, da. I think she ended up leaving with that Matisse book. I think she might have traded something for it. And she was talking about, you know what I'm saying, just talking about that. It just triggered her because she had just been looking at it. She had, I guess, had just seen the release. She pulled it up on IG and all that. So yeah, the homie Quinn had brought that up because she saw a book that Sharice had brought the trade, and they just serendipity, and then just like that moment, you know what I'm saying, some knowledge and information was shared about, our own backyard. You know what I'm saying? Asheville's like a couple hours away from here. So to know that you got a living relative of Matisse that's like leveraging his artwork and building on top of his practice through his own lens, and he's right here in North Carolina, is just insane. Shout out to him. We'll dig him up and tag him, more than likely whenever, if we decide to post this, but so y'all can check it out. But yeah, bro, it's just that those are the moments that we love. You know what I'm saying? Um, just being able to really have those true like connections and knowledge share and resource share, and that's all just through the love of collecting books.
Absolutely, man. I think that's what it's all about. Bringing in something like that and just like spurring off these very organic conversations, that takes you down a rabbit hole that you didn't expect to go to, and then now you're learning or uncovering some type of information that you wouldn't have if this person just didn't bring in this book. Like it's sparking a conversation, and now you're more knowledgeable about something, or you have awareness of something that you would have no idea about if this didn't exist, or we didn't, or this person didn't bring in this particular book. So that's like the beauty of it, right? Like it's deeper than just like a collection of books. It's more so of, sharing information, community, and just passing on these stories, man, and just passing on like these different, like, facts or pieces of information to each other, and you never know where that's going to take you. And to me, this is like the essence of real community building, in a sense, and getting to the root of, what we're trying to do, and building that from the ground up. And it's something that, everybody has. Like everybody has a book or something they collected, or a gift from somebody else that they have in the crib, or they want to grab more. It's something that's easy relatable to anybody that you speak to. So just seeing that, and I just can't wait to see how it grows, and what happens, man. And for sure, man, I'm gonna be at the next one. Y'all better come through with that heat, man, because I'm coming through with some heat.
Yeah, man. Bunko got one rule, man. Don't show up empty-handed, even if you don't have no art book or nothing like that, bro. I've been telling all the homies, like, yo, if you don't have anything in your collection that you want to trade or give away, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. Just go to the thrift store or bookstore
Facts.
and find something that you think will be useful. You know what I'm saying? And bring that in. You can find, really, that's the dope thing about, you know, print media, is that with how everybody's moving so digitally, which is part of kind of how we'll get into, part of what we're about to talk about next, is like with everything happening so fast, like take a little bit of time, slow down, go into a thrift store, go into a bookstore, and I guarantee you, like an actual independent bookstore, not necessarily like just a Barnes and Noble or something like that. Go into like an independent bookstore, and you'll find, I'm sure you'll find something for the low that you can like bring that would add to the vibe at Bunko, man. So don't let not having something that you want to give away or something that you want to trade or something that you think is valuable. Don't let that keep you from coming out and kicking it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really taking on like a flexing vibe. You know what I'm saying? So don't let that intimidate you either. Like just come out and have a good time, man, and bring something with good intentions and good things will happen.
Yeah, man. I know that you brought up that point about slowing down. I think might be a solid segue into some of the topics that we want to bring up for today.
Yeah, man, we got two topics we're gonna talk about today. The main one, or the one to kick us off, is yeah, not the main one, but just the first one that we're gonna talk about is that it's like everything is happening so quickly and so swiftly, and how it can be very important to take your time in the growth of your, artistic and cultural practice or your creative practice, and like be intentional with your growth. Even in a time where it seems like everything is happening so fast, everything's being monetized, like there's value in the slow and steady. There's value in that, and put something in the crock pot and let it cook. Let it, you know what I'm saying, letting it cook. You know what I mean? Until it's ready and it's fall off the bone. You know what I'm saying? Where people are savoring over it and salivating over it. So um, yeah, man, that's kind of one of the things I want to get to. But what does that bring up for you as we talk about like the importance of intention, the importance of letting things slow cook, the slow roast, like the slow build, like really letting a project or a concept, marinate, and knowing when to bring it out and knowing when to put it in front of people, or letting a project marinate, you know what I mean, or a skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing too. Is like people be learning stuff and be sharing and learning on the protocols. Like I mean, sharing and learning on the like at the same time, like on the fly, and when they can really just be like building in the background and then pop out with something crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Yo, I've been working on this for a year. Nobody knew about it. Now I'm just like hella proficient at like 3D printing or whatever." You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
what are your thoughts as we kind of like explore or look at, and like the slow burn?
I think it's the key, man. I think it's like highly underrated to take your time and to really take the steps. And this is something that I can say in my own practice that I've fallen victim of. Like I will say that, learn from me and what I probably should have done better on, which is, naturally I want to get into like, oh, I see this. Oh, I want to learn how to figure that out. Maybe, it is 3D printing. Maybe it is like, the graphic design, or maybe it's web design. When I could have had like that core thing that I was working on inch by inch and growing. And to your point about, not saying that I had to not pick up, like it's not saying that you don't want to learn anything new or you don't pick up things along the way, but you can set yourself up to go in the wrong direction if you start to put that out there too soon before you're ready to get that to the world. And that was something that I didn't understand, because you mess around, sometimes it, it'll work too well. You putting a video out on Instagram, you might put something out and you just playing around like, oh, I'm doing this little project, I'm learning this thing. And then next thing you know, 2-3 people hit you up like, yo, I actually need this for my business. Can you help me do this? And it's like, yo, actually, I was just like trying to figure this out. I just got started. I'm not even ready for all that. Or you could be on the other side and then say, yeah, trying to do the most, because you may be in an under leveraged position at the moment, and you try to take on something and bite off more than you can chew. And then you end up risking your reputation and your name and not deliver quality because you just trying to get a quick buck, or you just trying to get something started that you're not prepared to do. And that can backfire on you in a lot of different ways. And I've seen that happen up close with different creatives in my career thus far. And it's never a good look. So this is something that I personally brought up in the last episode, where there was a time in my life that I was more concerned about getting a home run than getting on base, and just undervaluing that. Yes, in the moment, even if it takes me 3 years or 5 years to get to this point, it sounds like a very long time in the moment. But when you zoom out in the grand scheme of your life, bro, 3 years ain't nothing. That ain't nothing, for you to get a skill and really like scale something that you can eat off of and you can do well for the rest of your life. And then you can start to layer on these different aspects as time goes on. And there is a power and a strength within having a skill or something that you can add to the table that is for you and it's pure. And then you can get that to the world when you're ready. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm good now. I understand it. I know it front to back. It's cool. But taking that time, man, just don't rush. don't rush it, because you're going to put yourself in a position that you don't need to be in. But with that being said, I'm wondering what that means for you as well. Like what comes to mind when you think about kind of like, slow roasting, or like, pacing things out and staying consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly about like just being proficient. You know what I mean? Like I said, kind of like in the tee up is like so many people are so worried about like monetizing everything so quickly now. You know what I mean? I feel like I mean, obviously there are people who have things for themselves, and I'd be the one to push somebody when I think somebody's dope. Like, yo, like you need to sell that, or you know what I'm saying, like offer that to folks or whatever. Like if I see something that somebody got going on. So I mean, I'm guilty of being, you know what I mean, a catalyst or an enabler in that sense. Yeah, bro. I think about like just the ability or what you miss out on um by to your point, putting things out there early. Now, you know what I mean, you become known for maybe this underdeveloped or underbaked style when it wasn't really your intention. And not to say that you can't pivot, but again, for things that blow up, it's tough to get people to, switch and be into something after you've been doing one thing for a while, or they know you for something, a specific style or something like that. So I don't know, man. I think obviously take everything with a grain of salt. The same, no blanket advice. Not everything works for everybody, but I think again, I just think about like the ability or the desire to be proficient at what you're doing before presenting your word, like, or even like before you give yourself a title. I know that's the other thing too. Is like people are like, yeah, gatekeepers. Give yourself a title, be delusional, blah 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 blah. Which is fine, right? Like you got to have some self confidence to be able to put something in the world and deal with the feedback that comes with it. Um, because a lot of people are paying attention more to the feedback, probably than they should. You know what I'm saying, myself included. We should probably just be worried about what we making and making it to our taste and pushing it out. But I think that people are so, programmed at this point to look at that feedback, to look at the response, to look at the likes, look at the comments, look at everything that's going on when they start to do something that like, you miss out on, again, just the ability to be proficient sometimes when you're so worried about trying to put a product out into the world or trying to put something out into the world. When it's like, it's okay to like, I mean, I've had, uh, different experiences where, you know what I mean, people may know, like, again, even just thinking about my puzzle pieces, like, people had known me as a photographer, but they had never seen me display images in that way. So for them to see, a 4 foot size, like, puzzle piece with some of my photography on it, was kind of like, oh, now this is different. Like, I know you took photos, but I didn't know you did this. And that was something that was just like, I didn't call myself an artist until that moment. So it's like, I'm not huge on like, what I'm saying, just jumping in or putting titles, creative director in the bio. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sure, but like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody was to talk to you about building a campaign across multiple touch points, or how to take this visual language and translate it to a different medium, you know what I mean? Do you have the ability to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what that really means? Do you know how that affects strategy? Do you know what I mean, how those things are supposed to come together? And are you maximizing your value for that too? Because that's the other thing too. If you're not sure, or if you just started doing this thing, you kind of blew up for it, you ain't really positioned to really maximize the value off of it a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you could be, missing out on in terms of like how much to charge based off of what you might need to execute on that thing at a different scale. I'm just encouraging people to do their research and become proficient at whatever medium you want to touch in or tap in on. And I honestly think you would see more results faster if you just kind of locked in and got proficient, and then kind of like launch the thing or let people know you was doing a thing and you're already proficient at it, as opposed to kind of like stumbling through the process in public and, to your point, risking your reputation too. So that's kind of what I think through as we talk about like a kind of like a subject, or as something that we've experienced in the past or have seen other people experience.
Yeah, man. I think that's very important, man. I think it's a balance towards it. You can throw out, some ideas here and there, but in terms of like, to your point that you made about, getting there faster, if you actually just like lock in on a thing, I think that's something that a lot of people may struggle with, because those first year, 2 years, 3 years is going to be a little rough. I got long hair, man. I got locks. Well, I kind of think about, usually when I get into that mode, I think about my hair a lot of times, because you go through that baby stage, man, when you got them wicks, you know what I mean? And you popping out, and it's like, bro, I want to wear a hat. I don't want to show nothing. And it's that it kind of translates into your work sometimes, in my mind too, where you kind of nervous to show that work. You don't want to put that out there. Maybe not, your skill level hasn't matched up to your taste. And so you're trying to, metaphorically put a hat.
I love that. That's a good way of putting it.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a simple thing, but bruh. Just like very similar to the hair, like your locks drop. It's like a random day. You get a twist, and you think it's another twist, and then when you be like, oh, hold on, now I got some hang time in this bit. Okay, hold on, bro, we outside, and it changes the whole thing, and then at that point, you pretty much forget that you even went through that stage in the first place, and now you're getting compliments. People are speaking to you like, oh, I love your work, I love what you're doing, but that first 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, where a lot of people kind of just like, say, forget it, I'm gonna switch to something else, something again that I personally fallen victim to. It doesn't there's no way around it. And I think that's the thing I'm trying to get off, is that there is no shortcut around that wick stage, bro. Like, you have to go through it. It's okay. And if you stick with it, and push through and just kind of keep showing up, you're gonna get to that point where it becomes second nature, and it's very easy for you to maneuver. And that's when you start to reap the benefits of the value. You start to reap the benefits of your network. You start to reap the benefits of all the work and the hours that you put in, and then that allows you to have leverage and resources to really be able to scale massively. But again, there is no shortcut. You going over to this thing over here, or deciding you want to switch it up, is not going to really make things a little bit easier for you. Now, you can have a better vision casting in terms of being able to see the full vision, so you're not just a cog in a machine, and then you can kind of get yourself to see a little bit more and zoom out a little bit. But in terms of like your actual skill and execution rate, that's only going to get you so far. But yeah, that's my perspective on it, man. And I'm hoping that we get into a place where that's a little bit more socially acceptable when it comes to the creativity and business.
Yeah, man. That's definitely something that's needed for sure. It's just like, bro, embrace the process. You we talked about the hair. Most people may not know, but I used to have, what I'm saying, box braids, fro, whatever. Used to get it braided down in the box braids, and I never forget the first time I could put the box braids in a ponytail, bro. You couldn't tell me nothing, boy. I was rocking that joint forever. Always try to joint up more. Like, yeah, we out here. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Then the pony started to drop a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, we really out here,
Nah,
bro.
we outside, bro. It ain't you ain't gonna tell me nothing, bro. We really did it. Listen, it's over with, bro. I'm about to get a new fit. Nigga, I feel crazy right now. So, hey, bro, it ain't nothing like that feeling, but you gotta go through that process though. Like, there's no way to not go through that ugly phase, bro. It's no way to not go through that growth period. It's just what it is. And it's a beauty to that too. Like, now I go look back at old photos, I'll be like, oh, that was a rough time. But just sticking with that and having that to as a metaphor or something to kind of like anchor like the thought process, it just helps out a lot, because that translates into so many things in life. Like, all right, bro, just gotta keep showing up, and eventually it's gonna drop.
I love that. So yeah, the second thing we was talking about is yeah, and kind of connected to the same thing, is around like people who consider themselves multi-hyphenate, or people who have multiple skill sets, and trying to navigate that. You know what I mean? As a creative, obviously, like I sat on a panel last week. I did 4 events, had four evening events last week, and two of them were panels that I either moderated or sat on, and one of them was specifically about portfolios. And that was one of the things that we were talking about on the panel, is like, yo, when you are trying to apply for something and you're putting together a portfolio, like, you got to be concise with the story you're telling that portfolio, and how it aligns to, whatever it is that you're applying to, whether it's a residency or a grant process or an open call or exhibition submission, like anything like that. Like, you need to be on it. You know what I'm saying? And being able, like, going in and saying like, oh, I do this and this and this and this and this and this, is like, bro, you throwing off the, like, people are getting like, what are you actually submitting? Like, what are you doing? Like, how does this fit into what we're talking about? So, yeah, man, I just want to talk a little bit about, like, you know, sticking with something, and kind of getting to that point of the slow burn, like being able to be proficient at something, being able to monetize that thing, being able to take care of yourself. And I think that most people should do it, do the thing that comes most naturally to them. You know what I mean? Like, the thing, like, I think that we have kind of glorified this whole, the mentality or the mindset around, like, just like grinding and hard work. Like, we don't feel like things should be easy. But I feel like if something comes naturally to you, or something comes easy to you, you should lean into that so that you can scale, You know what I mean? A lot more quickly and a lot more efficiently. There's no like it doesn't have to be hard. You know what I mean? Like we making things harder than it is. You know what I'm saying? Just because again we've been taught that like, you know what I mean, certain things around like, yeah, if you ain't work for it, then you know what I'm saying, it ain't work it. It's like, but what happens when you put that hard work on top of something that you're already naturally good at? You know what I'm saying? What happens? How do how much do you grow, or how much more can you produce? How much more value do you provide when you lean into those things as opposed to kind of taking them for granted? And again, kind of build out something around that, whether it's finding a job or a role that works. Again, building your own business and practice around it. Um, just there's value in singular things, just as there is a value in multiple things. But you know, yeah, I'm curious on what you think about that, and in terms of people that have like the slash 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 slash. You know what I'm saying?
Man, this is so timely because I mean, to be honest, man, I'm that person. Like I'm definitely a super slash
Yeah.
person, and it's tough, bro. Like it's so tough, and I'm it's just now starting to click after years and years and years of doing this. It's starting to click like what it is that I need to do, or people like myself need to do in order to be successful. So I would say that, I recently just went into my portfolio and just kind of narrowed everything down, like just narrowing down to spatial storytelling and then creative direction. Like those are the two things that I'm really like leaning into on a heavy tip. And when I say like spatial storytelling, that goes into like some of the VR video production that I've done, some of the virtual tours, AR, like all those aspects, like the emerging tech side of myself, as well as some of the work that I may have done with, previous employers and things of that nature when it comes into creative direction. Like that's something that comes that I know that I can like hang my hat on. And then from a personal standpoint, it's trying to figure out, if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling like, man, I got too many things. It's really about finding a way or a project that serves as a way to feed all of your different interests underneath one umbrella. What that can mean is like, that's why a lot of people may gravitate towards making films or gravitate towards making music, because within, say for instance, making music, um you know you have to be like the creative director. You have to understand, video, because if you're making a music video, you have to understand audio engineering to a certain degree. You have to understand songwriting. You have to understand pacing and rhythm and a little bit of math. You have to understand, a quote unquote event production, but that's pretty much your show, and you got to understand logistics if you're putting on a tour. Like you have to have, if you're that type of artist, but you're not running around saying that, oh, I'm a logistics person, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. It's like, no, I'm a music artist. It has all those different skills required to be able to do it. So finding what that is for yourself is a key thing. And there's a personal project that I have for myself called a Sonic Room, and that fulfills that for me. That fulfills my music itch. It fulfills my product design itch. It fulfills my event production itch. All those things, and just like hi-fi and even just spatial audio and just getting emerging technology. So only looking at sound or different pieces that may be coming from like Dolby Atmos. So it houses all these different interests within one, but you can say it in one word, like, okay, this is the Sonic Room and this is what we do. And I don't have to try to prove that I can do 100 different things to you, because whether that's, pride or ego, or whether that's just me being unclear about what it is that I bring to the table. And so if you're in that position, it's very important and imperative for you to find something that, allows you to get off all of those itches within one swoop. So you're not confusing people and you're not confusing yourself, because you're gonna end up burning yourself out if not. Uh, and I think that mentality and trying to figure that out is probably job one, if you feel like, man, I can do three different things at a high level, but kind of finding a way to condense that down and turn it into one thing.
No, I love that. That's dope. And you probably would see like something, some insane like outcomes if you just thought about like what does it look like for me to have a house for all these different things to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? That would probably benefit you a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to contextualize. 'Cause that's another thing. Just contextualizing the work. That's part of it. Is the struggle in terms of being a multi-hyphenate. Is like, how do all these things actually connect back? You know what I mean? And how is this a part of your story? And I think a lot of it was like, again, sitting on that panel or just talking to folks in general, was like people are looking at like, yo, I do this one thing and I'm trying to do this one thing and I want to tell a story about me doing this one thing. But it's like the beauty, especially from like a art or fine art perspective, a visual art perspective, is like being able to take people on a journey of how you arrived here and being able to understand how all those mediums overlap and what's the synergy between the things that, you know what I mean, that align to create your unique vision and your unique passion for whatever medium you're working in. So, yeah, man, that's the being able to thinking about it or doing that using that as an exercise, even if it's not a project that you execute on, just being able to think about it would be a fire way to come up with some concept. You just got my mind rolling, just thinking about, you know what I mean, everything I got going on and how those things might align into something. You got me fired up thinking about that.
Hey
Now that
man,
that was fire, bro. A gem right there.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, man. It's and again, it definitely takes some work and some real soul searching to be like, yo, bro, what is my through line? Like, what do all these things mean? And use the tools that you have available to you, man. Like this is one of those times where I think that leveraging technology like AI to like have a conversation and just like think about prompts and kind of mirroring these things back to you so you can see yourself from a different perspective, or using like mind maps. Miro would be great for this. Just to I had to do that at one point, just like putting like all these are all the things that I'm working on, and like, all right, let me just have like a brain dump, and then and seeing that reflected back to you, you can clearly connect the dots a little bit better. Especially if you're a creative and you're a visual person or you're a kinetic learner or things like that. It just changes the whole game because, yeah, man, like if you're anything, if you're multi potential, like probably one of the worst things you that you want to get asked when you go out is like, yeah, so what do you do? And you be like, ah, all right,
What do you do?
yeah. Yeah, so then you like, okay, and bro,
Yeah.
I know that pain, I know that struggle. So but understanding that and getting it like locked in, is going to be imperative not only to your own clarity but to your business, to your network, because then it helps your network figure out how to help you. Because then like if you telling me 10, 12 different things and I'm like, bro, I don't even know what to call you for, like I don't know, but if you can narrow it down, it just helps you, which that allows a pipeline for you to make more money and to again have resources. Figuring this out before anything else is probably one of the biggest things that any multi hyphenate can do.
Yeah, and it's not even to negate the fact that you shouldn't have different mediums or different parts of your practice, or you shouldn't be dabbling in different things that you're doing, right? Like, creativity is creativity, and we got to get it out and express it. But again, we're specifically talking about people who want to make a living within creative industries. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who want to make who really want to hang their hat on their creativity and really make it a part of their lifestyle, really make it a part of, the life that they want to lead ultimately. In order to make a living off of it, it's best suited or it's easiest, especially coming out the gate, if you are known for a thing and you're really, really doing that thing really, really well. And then from there, you can start to introduce some other different things that layer in on top and being able to connect the dots for folks on how they're all kind of related. So, um, yeah, man, that's a good spot, I think, to put a pin in it. You know what I mean? And cap
Absolutely.
this episode off. Appreciate y'all. If you stayed for the whole episode, man, we appreciate you for tapping into the Living Room Podcast. Again, my name is David Butler, aka Dave Has Wings. And I got my co host with me, Elliott McKnight. And we'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
Peace.